going to continue to we're going to continue to keep trying to stream until we catch a signal. Because we still have to get over to the Eisenhower Memorial. And this is just a beautiful view. But I understand if those of you who are frustrated with me at this point won't be able to find this stream. Completely understand. Maybe if I walk this way, away from all the beauty, I'll find a signal. So annoying to not have a good signal here. But these are great. Now, these are not black-eyed Susans. I do not know what they are, but I like them. Some kind of monster flowers. Artichokes. Some artichokes in this garden. This is the United States Botanic Garden. This is my third attempt streaming from around here. The signal's terrible, but I'm going to keep trying. These are everywhere. These Gomphrena purple amaranthicae. They're everywhere around Washington, D.C. And these red puffy things are great too. Edible flowers. Okay. Edible flowers here. Now, when we were here in the early spring, there was not much here, but everything is either ready to be harvested or has been harvested here. There's rhubarb over there, or Swiss chard, sorry. Swiss chard, basil. Look at the basil. Wow. That's a lot of basil. I know, I'm back from being back. Holocron, I'm going to give up in a minute, but I think President Eisenhower deserves his due. So we are going to head over to the Eisenhower Memorial, come heck or high water. I'm just going to walk over there as fast as I can. Unfortunately, missing all these beautiful flowers. Little peek at the Capitol there. Signal looks like it's completely gone at this point. I know, but wow. Oh, that's such a good view. Great big, huge agave. That's a tequila plant. And some butterflies over there. And I just don't dare walk back over there where the signal was bad. But thank you, Holocron. For those of you just joining me for the third time, we're in the Bartoli Fountain Garden of the United States Botanic Garden. And there's some pitcher plants here. They're kind of cool. But we keep losing the signal. So I really do appreciate folks hanging out with me. The last objective of today is to get to the Eisenhower Memorial. And by gosh, we're going to do it. Even if it's a bad signal, we're going to get to the Eisenhower Memorial today. There is the headquarters of the Department of Health and Human Services right there. And we'll get a look back on the Bartoli. This is not the only part of the Botanic Garden. The conservatory is over there. You can see the U.S. Capitol right there. There are gardens all around the conservatory and here across the street at the beautiful Fountain Garden. Try to catch a picture. Yeah, there's blue skies this way. If I point the camera the other way, you'll see the rain is coming. The rain is coming. How annoying. This building here in the center of the frame is the Museum of the Native American, or I'm sorry, the Museum of the American Indian. I always say it wrong. Ahead there. And that's the museum that made me take down a video because I had there was a song in there, in the museum, and they would not release the copyright claim on my video. Yeah, that is a nice brutalist building. It's more interesting than some of the other ones, for sure. Thank you for all you do. We really appreciate it. All right, I got my walking dude here. Now I've got a good signal. And I'll stop talking about the signal. That's very, I don't know, that's very DSP of me to talk about the quality of the stream all the time. Yeah, I mean, this is a good example architecturally. It just needs a cleaning, you know? It's got that gray film on it. Needs a good power wash. Needs a good power wash. All right, let's head over here to President Eisenhower's Memorial. This is Independence Avenue in Washington, D.C. There are blue skies over there. My first stream, my first of several. What is this? My fourth attempt right now. My first stream, we began at the the Memorial to the Disabled American Veterans, which is right there where you see those flags. So we'll see if that stream survives. I will take down that little teeny tiny stream that didn't last more than a minute or two. But here we're walking west on Independence Avenue. The two main east-west thoroughfares through the main part of Washington, D.C. here, the National Mall area, is Independence Avenue to the south of the mall and Constitution Avenue to the north of the mall. And here's another artwork on that side of the building. And the Smithsonian Museums flank the north and south sides of the National Mall. The Smithsonian Museums are free. Check them out when you come to Washington, D.C. Visit all of them. Holocron, Fox, I appreciate all of your advice. I'm not a real YouTuber, you know. I'm just somebody who likes history and walking. And I try to avoid the traffic in the evenings by taking little walks after work. And this has been a multi-part disaster stream today, for sure. But that's okay because I'm still walking. I got to see some beautiful flowers. I'm sorry if the rest of you didn't. This is the National Museum of the American Indian, across the way here. The Smithsonian Museums are open every day except Christmas Day. So they're actually really great for a visit on a holiday. And they're usually packed on the holidays too because the kids are out of school. But they are free. Now, some of the exhibits do require a timed ticket, and the presentations in the IMAX theaters do cost money. But otherwise, they're free. I appreciate that, Fox. Now here's the front of the Voice of America building. We saw the back side of it when we started our walk on the first of my, I don't know, 3 or 4 disaster streams now. I think this is the 4th attempt. This is probably a record for me. I always worry when I see people on those speedy wheel thingies. And the building ahead of us on the right is the National Air and Space Museum. Oh, I was talking about the museum. So they are open every day except Christmas Day, but they do close. Most of them close at 5:30, 5 or 5:30. The outdoor attraction at the National Sculpture Garden, where we were last week, finally, that closes at 5. So it's hard to get there on a work day. But we got there last week. This is the National Air and Space Museum, and you can see the Washington Monument just peeking out over there ahead of us. And I'm sorry for walking so fast. I know it's a bumpy walk. But I'm trying to get to where I need to get to without losing the stream again and avoid the rain. All right, this is the Dwight D. Eisenhower Memorial. Now, there's some real strategy as to where this memorial was placed. Dwight Eisenhower being a huge advocate for the beginnings of our U.S. space program and a huge advocate for education. So his memorial is here between the Air and Space Museum, and the building behind is one of the buildings of the Department of Education. So this memorial was put here with absolute purpose. I actually looked at one holocron. I'm trying not to be one of those people, but I guess I need to be. See, my problem is I want to use my real camera, and I can't live stream with my real camera. That would be impossible for me. Not for others, but for me. So I know I've resisted it. Yeah, I found a pretty decent one. It's not too... and become one of those people. I'm not doing the selfie sticks. Heck no. Heck no. Don't even know if that helps. I mean, I'm sure it does, but like, I don't know. I think it's just my lack of skill. So you can see behind this memorial is this wedding that it's actually quite nice. It kind of obscures the blahness of the building behind the Department of Education. It really makes this memorial, it sets off the memorial so it doesn't get consumed by the Department of Education building behind it. I think it was a really thoughtful design choice. President Eisenhower, of course, being General Eisenhower during World War II, and during his second inaugural address, we look upon this shaken earth and we declare our firm and fixed purpose the building of a peace with justice in a world where moral law prevails. That is ever so timely right now. Moral law prevailing. And then the D-Day address, part of it, that historic moment in history. The tide has turned. The free men of the world are marching together to victory. D-Day address to troops, June 6th, 1944. And this is another place, again, in the busiest part of Washington, D.C. Independence Avenue is one of the busiest streets, especially right now, rush hour. And still it's relatively quiet. And that relative quiet is because we have these green spaces throughout the city. It's also because we have height restrictions on our buildings. There's no skyscrapers here. I agree, Fox, I do agree. And it's also because our streets are quite wide. We have very few narrow streets in Washington, D.C. Designed that way. D.C. was a planned city. It was not an organic city like, say, London, which grew up with its all crooked little streets, which is beautiful and historically relevant. But Washington, D.C. was a planned city. It was a swamp. Where I'm standing right now, right here, was swamp and water. And so it had to be constructed over many years, planned in a grid fashion with a spoke and wheel design as well. So all of that together actually makes for a quiet city, even in rush hour. It's another view of the Air and Space Museum. And here on this pillar, General Dwight D. Eisenhower, Supreme Commander of the Allied Expeditionary Force, 1944 to 1945. And his 5 stars. I'll have to do a video on all the 5-star generals, like how many 5-star generals and the the exceptions to the 5-star general rule. Because Ulysses S. Grant would have been a 6-star general. And there are a few others. I gotta think Eisenhower would have technically been one as well as Supreme Commander. Everywhere you go around Washington, D.C., you'll find these super helpful signs. Hi, Christoph. Nice to see you. These super duper helpful signs telling you where you are, and just take a look at all the places where we are. So here we are at the Eisenhower Memorial. The Air and Space Museum is right there. We passed the Museum of the American Indian. And there is so much here within a very quick walk of this area. And free. There is so much free in this area. All of these museums, obviously the memorials. Hi, Jay. Nice to see you. Excuse me. All of the museums and the memorials, of course, are free, the Smithsonian museums. There are other museums that do charge a fee. You may have to get a timed ticket for some of the exhibits, especially here at the Air and Space Museum. It is completely renovated and expanded. The exhibit space inside has just exploded. It took years to build, but it is the most popular museum on the National Mall. And so on some days, a timed ticket is required. And you can actually get the timed ticket here and then just stand in line. There are also times when the National Zoo requires a time ticket. Let's see. What cartographer who designed that map? So that map, who knows? That's one of the National Park Service maps. But the city of Washington, D.C. was designed by Pierre L'Enfant and drafted by Benjamin Banneker in a precise grid design with a spoke and wheel designed to connect the important areas diagonally. The east and west streets are the letters A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The north and south streets are the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And the diagonal streets, most of them are named for states, like New York Avenue, Massachusetts Avenue, Virginia, Maryland, Louisiana, Indiana, Nebraska. This round museum here, this is the Hirshhorn Gallery of more modern art. And last week we visited the National Gallery of Art's sculpture garden outside. And you can see the Washington Monument. Yeah, you can see the clouds. I feel the rain. It's spitting rain a little bit. Any minute now. Food trucks. You never know what you're going to get with them. And to be honest, hey, once in a while I do visit a food truck. I wouldn't get the ice cream at them, just saying. Sometimes a falafel or a hot dog is okay. But No, there's not a Puerto Rico street. That's a great question, Holocron. There is not a Puerto Rico street here. But maybe there should be. There's not a Marshall Islands or a Philippines or... No. Just states, not territories or former occupations. This building here, this is the Federal Aviation Administration building, the FAA headquarters. Right here. I'm gonna walk until it pours. It's raining now, but we'll be fine. We'll be fine. This is good old 7th Street. I've taken many walks up 7th Street, all the way to New York Avenue. 7th Street is a former and current commercial corridor with lots of examples of old shops, bank building. I love the bank buildings. Old residences that have, many of which have been preserved. It's also where the arena, the Capital One Arena, where our hockey team plays, the Washington Caps. So appropriately named the Orville Wright Federal Building. Now, really not fair. What about Wilbur? I mean, seriously, what about Wilbur? But this is the headquarters of the Federal Aviation Administration. Really not fair to Wilbur. Y'all let me know if a raindrop hits the camera. It looks okay for now. If the picture gets really fuzzy, you'll let me know. We've done this walk before. This walk down Independence Avenue. We checked out the gardens around the Smithsonian Castle, which is just ahead of us. And this is where we started our official brutalist architecture tour, because the Forstall building straight ahead, that's kind of the granddaddy of the brutalist designs here. And I know there's someone who always pops in my chat and tells me this isn't real brutalism. I'm using it with a small b. If there's a technical reason why it's not, I'd love to know why. But in all of the architectural tours around Washington, D.C., these are certainly included as examples of brutalist architecture. Karen, hi. It's so nice to see you. I hope you've been well. We're doing a little walk down Independence Avenue, and I'm glad you got here. It's just starting to rain. As soon as the raindrops hit the camera lens, I'll probably be ending this stream again. This is my 4th attempt at a stream today. It's crazy. But at least I've got a signal right now. Just looking back on the Hirshhorn. Oh, that's good to hear, Karen. The Hirshhorn Museum, the big round museum, modern art, here on the National Mall. Yeah, Karen, you know, amazingly, on top of Capitol Hill, the highest point in Washington, D.C., allegedly. Well, not really. Technically, that's near Tenleytown, and we'll do a stream from there. But yeah, lost the signal. Completely lost the signal. That's a great test, Fox. That's a good test. So just because I opened this can of worms, the highest point in Washington, D.C. is as you get close to the National Cathedral. The National Cathedral was obviously placed in on a high point, but Tenleytown, Maryland, at the former Fort Pennsylvania, now called Fort Reno, is the highest point in Washington, D.C., and there's a marker in the ground, and I have made a video from there. Kids are the most honest. Now, we have visited all these police and fire call boxes that we've been collecting, which have art installations in them. And so these ones that are painted blue, this color blue, were all done for one of the cherry blossom festivals. And it's kind of torn, but I think it says 1990. This one was the 1990 Cherry Blossom Festival. It's a watercolor created by Thomas Chesterfield. Lovely. I love finding these. I need to make a Google map when I get free time. All my free time, right? I need to make a Google map of all of the police and fire call boxes. But it's such a great way to preserve history, to promote art, to beautify the area, to add some interest, to create a little walking trail, right? Just painting a call box. And there are so many examples. Now, this is the Museum of Arts and Industry. This is not the Smithsonian Castle. This is next door to the castle. But this is the Museum of Arts and Industry. Completely opposite of our brutalist friend across the street. How does a call box work? In the oldie days, there was a handle inside that box. And if your house was on fire, you ran outside and pulled the handle and it sent a signal to the fire station. We had them all throughout Baltimore. And the same thing for the police. And usually it was actually a police officer that had a call box key and would check in in the call box, like, you know, pull the handle in the call box to check in. It does, you know, so you get this, yeah, there's definitely some Eastern influence here. Mini Kremlin, I like that. Highly stylized brick, different color brick, and then right across the street, this thing, which is still beautiful. And I think it's more beautiful because all of the buildings are different. There's such a variety. Okay, it's really coming down now. I'm streaming until the lens gets wet. So you'll tell me when the lens gets hit and smeared and fogged. Try to hold the camera this way. It is just art now. Yeah, I think they expect everyone to, use their phones. I got rain, I got potholes. And I think when we visited the last time, we were so focused on this building, which is the Forrestal building, which is the headquarters of the Department of Energy, that we didn't take a really good look at this National Museum of Arts and Industry. The date on this building is 1879. I'll stop walking in just a second. Maybe get under a tree and get some shelter from some of the raindrops. And we'll take a good look at this one. (1879). This building is undergoing a significant renovation. So it is closed currently. Inside the museum, all of the gardens around the exterior of the museum are open. And here's a view of that Department of Energy sign. The James V. Forrestal Federal Building. And then the museums flanking the castle. Now you're getting the first view of the castle here. The museums flanking the castle are the Museum of Asian Art and the Museum of African Art. With exhibits inside and out. Here's a goodly look at the Forrestal building close up. And we took a walk under the building. As you can see, the entire building is stood up on these pillars. These massive pillars that hold this entire building up so that this main street here can go right under it, this main thoroughfare. Let's see if I can avoid the raindrops here. All right, let's see if the rain will cut me a break. Let's see if I can at least get to the parterre before it really downpours or pours down. And we have another call box. And this one seems to have lost most of its art. So if that art was installed in 1990, that's what, 35 years ago? Oh my gosh, I feel old. So that's 35 years ago. And not maintained. Actually surprised it lasted as long as it has in the shape that it's in. Let me know if a raindrop hits the lens, please. Although that may make for some visual art, for sure. Hope everyone's having a great day. This is not the stream I planned. I did not plan for rain. I did not plan to lose the signal multiple times. But check out that view. That's a nice view. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. All right, we have the walking sign. And we're going to do it. Well, since we didn't get to tour the gardens around the Capitol. Yeah, dude, just right in front of me. I got the walking sign. You all are my witnesses if I get run over. I planned to walk around the gardens south of the Capitol, around the back part of the House office buildings, but there was no signal. So now I'm at the Enid Haupt Garden behind the Smithsonian Castle. And we're going to be here until, and it is pouring now. I was going to say, we're going to be here until it pours. I'm going to be here just for a few minutes. Take a quick look. This is called the parterre. And it looks like that. And the specific flowers are changed out with the seasons and rearranged as it goes. This is a beautiful, beautiful garden to visit. Rain or shine, who cares if it's wet? It's still open. There's the Museum of African. Oh, it is pouring. Oh my gosh. It's pouring. There's no shelter here. Ooh, what are these? Okay, I don't know what these purple things are. I'm distracted by these beautiful purple things. That sort of looks like lotus flowers, but they're huge. What are these things? Check those out. I know there's some blue sky. It's always happening. Oh, I know this isn't pouring. Now it is actually. I'm over exaggerating. My glasses are completely fogged. So that's pouring for me. Check out the little fountains going over here. Crocus? Yeah, it could be. But they're huge. These are like really big. Okay, that's not providing me any relief. I think there are some umbrellas over here. We're going to make a dash for the umbrellas. Because I'm telling you now, it is pouring now. It is pouring now. I'm seeking shelter. I'm quickly seeking some shelter. Oh, here we go. Nice. Okay. These lovely umbrellas provide a very nice shelter. But still a beautiful view. Oh, Karen. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to look those up. Okay, if you have them in your garden and they're growing here, I'm going to need those. Oh, thunder. Did you hear the thunder? While we're here, we can look at the statue of Spencer Fullerton Baird, the second secretary of the Smithsonian Institution. How lovely. Okay, this can't go on for very long. There really was like only one cloud on the map, really. We got rain, we got a train, we got thunder. We've got 35 people watching me huddle under an umbrella. I'm going to try to go from like umbrella to umbrella. Make my way around. See, there's one right there. It's like using video game logic. I can jump from, lily pad to lily pad. Playing a game of Rain Frogger. I don't know what this tree is, but this is gorgeous too. Oh, look, we've got little succulents going over here. Beautiful. It's quite lovely. All right, let's make a run to this. We're going to run over to this umbrella. Okay, we made it. At least get a little bit of a different view. Oh, I see the sun. It's brightening. I know, Karen, right? When you're trying to jump from ledge to ledge without falling into a pit of molten lava. Ooh, and there's thunder. And avoiding the lightning. All right, it's there. Look, sun, it's getting bright. All right, we're going to head over to those umbrellas over here. The problem is the glasses. The problem is the glasses being completely steamed up and fogged up. Now, this area was under renovation the last time I was here, so it's nice to see that this is done. And if you can see that fountain or urn over there, hi, Bill. Yeah, it is. Well, it's very, very annoying, too, when I was on a little walk. But luckily, I'm at the Smithsonian Castle in Washington, D.C., and back here there are umbrellas. And so I wasn't too far from some shelter. And it's getting really bright. I mean, there's the sun. So I expect this is going to stop. As long as y'all can see the stream. My glasses are fogged up, but that's okay. I'm just waiting. Just a wee bit. I don't want the camera lens to get fogged up either. Thank you all for joining me. Dennis, hi. It's nice to see you. Dennis and Bill, tell us where you're from. We're in Washington, D.C. We're at the Smithsonian, taking shelter from the rain. Was trying to avoid this rain. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. My stream cut out 4 times. There were 3 times, so this is the 4th attempt here. And then it rained. And amazingly, you all are still joining me for this disaster of the stream. All right, sun is breaking through. We'll venture out a little bit. Oh, Scotland. Oh my gosh. No, I've not been to Scotland. I've been to London a few times. Scotland is definitely on my list. All of it. Hello, Columbiana. Nice to meet you. Yeah, this whole area was under renovation not too long ago. So, like this, I'm guessing the lawn. But this building here, which is the Arts and Industries building, is under renovation and currently closed, but the gardens are still open. And this beautiful building here is the Smithsonian Castle. And I'll put my hand here so maybe the rain doesn't hit the lens. The castle is also under renovation. So you can't visit the inside, but the gardens at all times of year are magnificent. Oh, Bill, I should do that. I know, I never have the time though to get some serious time off work. All right, we're not gonna go that way. Sun! Okay, I've just blinded you. Sun! All right, well that's over with. Thank you for staying with me through the rain. But let's take a look at some of the magnificent features of the Smithsonian Castle building. Through the amazing generosity of Mr. John Smithson, who admired the American ideals of exploration and research and striking out to check out new lands, he bequeathed his fortune to the United States for the purpose of research and creating museums. And we're ever so grateful. He did not set foot in the United States during his life, but his body is entombed here in this building here, because after his death, we benefited from his amazing generosity. And today there are, I believe, 21 Smithsonian museums. All but one of them are free. All of the ones in Washington, D.C. are free. The one in New York does charge a fee. But here in Washington, D.C., they are free. And except for the ones under renovation, they're open every day of the year except for Christmas Day. My feet are soaked. My shoes are soaked. It's okay. It's why we wear sneakers to work. But here in Washington, D.C., all around, not just the Smithsonian buildings, but many of the government buildings are beautiful, beautiful gardens all year long. A really nice place, and there's like chairs and tables and umbrellas, thankfully. But beautiful places to take a break, to have your lunch during the workday, to just get some peace and quiet. Karen, these are gorgeous. We have a few more weeks. We probably have until mid-October. But I also like to visit these gardens after the hard freeze. And I've taken pictures of the flowers after they're frozen. And I get some of the best pictures of frozen roses. And it's just amazing. But here you'll see the castle is closed for renovation. I'm not going to hover on that because there's a QR code and that might set my camera off. But this is the Enid Haupt Garden. Thank you to Mrs. Haupt for whatever you did to inspire or fund or both this garden. Here's a really nice view of those towers. when the castle reopens, we'll definitely take a visit inside. It's been a really long time since I've been in the castle. Flying dragon orange tree. Wow. That's an orange tree. Oh, I like that, Karen. Frost miss. That's great. I'm going to use that. I'm stealing that from you, Karen. I'm borrowing it. I'll give you credit. Check out this orange tree. So there is a kind of orange that will grow in this area. Who knew? They're little tiny. They're really tiny little oranges. All right, I'm squishing in my sneakers here. Oh, there's a big robin. Squishing in my sneakers here. Now we can check out the flowers after the rain. That's a good one. Now we're back out on the National Mall, where we've spent so much time in other streams here on the National Mall. Definitely not where I planned to be today, but who knows where the spirit and the rain takes us. This is the Freer Gallery of Art, the National Museum of Asian Art. So on the other side, we had the National Museum of African Art, both flanking the castle. Excuse me. And we're getting the sun breaking through the clouds. A little bit of blue sky ahead of our sunset today. Well, there's a treat. So I'll have to come back with my real camera and photograph the memorials that I had planned to photograph or to video today, including the gardens behind the house office buildings, because we had no signal. So we'll make another attempt another time. I'll try to post a video. I'm trying to actually finish editing the thousands of hours of real video that I have into some videos. But see, what happens is I keep wandering outside and then I can't sit at my desk. I figure I'll have the whole winter to edit, but for me, my favorite time of year to hike is the winter. So I'm always outside. We didn't even get bad weather this year. I mean, and if we did, my internet would have gone down. So that would have prevented me from successfully editing anyway. We are now at the Department of Agriculture building. And as you can imagine, more gardens. It's the Department of It's the Department of Agriculture's People's Museum, People's Garden. Still going strong, even in September. Okay, so those were squash. There's still some peppers on that plant there, like some stripy peppers. There would have been beans here, I think. Maybe. Don't know what these were. Not sure. Oh, more basil. There's like basil everywhere. How come my basil doesn't look like this at home? Oh, if you could smell this. This looks amazing. There's kale. That's fantastic. And I don't know what those were. It's not tomatillos? Tomatillos. Thank you for all you do. I'm sorry to interrupt. Thank you so much for all you do. We have never been safer here. Thank you. Yeah, I see. There is irrigation here. Oh, look at these, the aubergines. Oh my gosh, look at these. There's still a few of these little babies here. Mint. Oh my gosh. Oh, it all just smells so good. And more basil. There's just basil everywhere. No, my kitchen garden is not. Oh, and there's the tomatoes. And I hope you all are getting the rainbow over the castle. Please tell me you all can see the rainbow. I am going to end the stream here. This is probably the perfect shot to end a disaster set of streams on today. Hope everyone has a fantastic evening. Hope wherever you are, you're having a really good night. Take care.